Wentz. Carson was going to try and play through it, but alas, that is not the plan after all. Timetable set at 5 to 12 weeks for his return. Seems like a big gap. Anywhere between now and never, I don't know. So Frank Reich and the Colts might need some quarterback help. Paging Nick Foles, perhaps. So much history in Philadelphia between Reich and Wentz and Foles. Not all glowing history. Here was Foles yesterday on the possibility of reuniting in Indy.
Listen, Frank Reich is one of my favorite, if not favorite, coaches of all time. He understands me as a player. He understands me as a person. But, you know, right, I haven't had any talks with him. I don't know. I'm a Chicago Bear right now. But I think if he knows me, he understands. I mean, y'all watched the 2017 season in the playoffs where he changed the offense and built it around me, and y'all saw what happened. So he understood my mentality as a player, and he was able to build it around me and put me in a successful position and my teammates. But that being said, they have Carson, and Carson and I have a lot of history. I have a lot of respect for Carson. He's a tremendous player. He's going through adversity once again, but he'll bounce back. And you know what? He might miss a few games, but I know he'll be back out there. But we haven't had any talks, so right now I'm a Chicago Bear, and I'm going to keep slinging it with these third stringers, and we're going to dice them up. You don't just want to go somewhere to go somewhere. Like, you want to go somewhere where you know the people somewhat, or you know someone who knows the people that can vouch for the people so you can succeed. Listen, I'm 32. I feel great. The version of me right now is much better than the version that played in the Super Bowl. I'll tell you that. And I'm confident in that. So put that through your mind.
Oh,
wow. Well, if Nick Foles is better than he was that Super Bowl season, grab him, Colts, Frank Reich, grab him. They'd be wise to trade for him. Here were Foles' numbers under Reich's tutelage in Philly. 5-1 during that Super Bowl run in 2017, 11 touchdowns, 3 picks. And he's the first to tell you, he's better now. So, Brandon, should the Colts trade for Nick Foles as a replacement for the injured Carson Wentz?
Oh, listen, first, did it sound like Nick Foles was a bit of a lobbyist there? I absolutely love it. Look, you got to take ownership in your career and what you're trying to do. But Nick Foles went out there and was like, look, I'm a third stringer. He wanted that to be clear. Everybody in the NFL knows that Nick Foles is not a third stringer. If anything, he's a backup. Yeah, and he's a guy that you can count on that can keep things together when a guy like Carson goes down. Look, go back to 2017. Carson Wentz was lighting the NFL on fire, okay? 33 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, 103 quarterback passer rating. We talked about that yesterday. I talked about it yesterday. And then he went down, okay? Brutal injury at the wrong time, terrible timing. Then Nick Foles stepped in. And yes, they did change some things up. And that boy came in and went on a tear himself. Like, that offense went to a new level. That deep ball emerged. Alshon Jeffrey start making more, bigger plays. So, with that being said, we know what the history is there. He didn't say, he is a great teammate. He said, look, he's a great player and he'll bounce back. They know that if he comes in there, there's going to be some bad blood. There's going to be some tension. We talked about it all last year where Carson Wentz is fragile, that mindset. And that's one of the reasons why he wanted out. That's one of the reasons why it didn't work last year, because of who they brought in. They brought in Jalen Hurts. So it won't work. But with all that being said, Nick, if I'm Chris Ballard, the general manager there, I do it. I do it quick. Look, this is the National Football League, and yesterday you talked about the schedule, how brutal of a start of a season it is. You don't have time to waste. If you fall behind to the Tennessee Titans and what they have going on there, bringing in Julio Jones, oh my goodness, and that running game, yeah, you may not have an opportunity. So, no, you got to go get it done right now. Who else out there can you get? There's nobody else that can come in there and help you make it through this stretch until Carson Wentz gets back.
So there's a lot to unpack here. First, I want to talk about the Bears side of things. If I'm Ryan Pace, I cut Nick Foles today. That was outrageous. Whoa. You're on the team, buddy. Like, what are you doing? Like, he's like, we haven't talked yet. Yeah, no bleep, you haven't talked. It's not allowed. Like, I don't. Hey, Nick Foles, do you know why you're the third string quarterback? Because that team watched you play last year and said, by God, someone call Andy Dalton, because he'll be better than what we had. They gave you every opportunity to prove yourself. They gave you a bunch of money that you didn't play up to the level of, and you were terrible. And by the way, you were terrible in Jacksonville. So this idea of he's like, oh, listen, I'm going to go dice him up with the third string, and he's my favorite coach I've ever had, and when I go somewhere, you want to... What are you talking about, buddy? So, yeah, I don't think the Colts should have to trade much for Nick Foles, because I think Nick Foles should be released this morning. If I'm running the Bears, I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man. Like, stop it. That's first of all. Second of all, if the Colts, on the flip side, if the Colts were to add Nick Foles, they almost have to release Carlson Wentz. They almost have to be like, oh my God, like you can't do this to Carlson Wentz. Yeah, I mean Carlson Wentz doesn't deserve that. I just mean like Carlson Wentz can't have this guy following him throughout his whole career, city to city, just like because
poor guy.
Like, and so I do think Wilds, that the kind of underrated story of this, everyone talks about what a great job Chris Ballard has done. And I think that is correct. I think Grigson, when he was running things with Andrew Luck, did a poor of a general managing job as one can do. I think Ballard's done an excellent job roster building. But, and we can show the graphic, when Carlson Wentz is your quarterback, you need to have a backup plan. Because it is not shocking he got hurt. It would have been shocking if he didn't. And I understand this is like an unlucky injury, and they're like, oh no, he's had it for a long time. But you can't
they say that about
right. Exactly right, Jenna. They're all, it's like, if this. You can't pencil Carson in for 16 games. And if you had real Super Bowl aspirations, as I know some people like Brandon really likes the roster and a lot of people do, you needed to invest better in your backup quarterback than your guy Jacob Eason-Wilds. So the short version is, if I'm the Bears, I'm cutting Carson Wentz. If I'm the Colts, if I'm the Bears, I'm cutting Nick Foles. And if I'm the Colts, I'm asking myself, why were we not prepared for the inevitable Carson Wentz injury?
Okay, so I have two solutions here. First, about Nick Foles. I think you made a great point, but I don't cut him. I just send him somewhere else. And it's like, hey, COVID protocols. You see what's happening with the Vikings. Kellen Mond and Kirk Cousins are in the COVID protocol, and they're like literally bringing in guys off the street to run the practice. And I could see something happening like we had with the Broncos last year, where you get quarterbacks going into a COVID protocol. So you need to have guys separated. So Nick Foles, good news. Your training camp is actually in a different part of Illinois. So there you go. So here's I've got the solution for the Colts, and it's a blind reveal. And this is so obvious once I reveal the blind reveal, you're going to be like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Here's the guy who should be the quarterback for the Colts. He's not done it all. He had the 6th most wins. He had the 8th best completion percentage. He had the 10th most passing yards, and he was tied for 9th in yards per pass. Nicholas, do you know who it is?
Is it Phillip Rivers?
That is correct. Bing, bing, bing. $50 to Nick Wright. You can go towards your gambling debts to Phil Helmuth.
Coaching high school right now?
Bring back Phillip Rivers. He didn't really want to retire, Brandon. He didn't. It was a very odd kind of departure.
Bring back Andrew Luck.
Where it feels like... Yeah,
that's not what I heard.
No, it feels like he wanted to go a little... Go ahead, let's hear what you heard. Oh, I got you. I got you to put on your news hat. Let's go. Let's hear it.
Well, listen, poor Chris Ballard. You highlighted him earlier. This dude is phenomenal. Well, Nick, you talked about him. This dude is next level general manager. He's next level team building, and he also has this guy at the head coaching position, and he let him do his job. And so when you look at his stint in Indy right now, you come in and you think you have what you need, especially at the quarterback position, right? You got Andrew Luck there, and then Andrew Luck retires on you, okay, in camp. That's brutal. So then you go to Brissett, okay? Did I say his name right? Jacoby. There you go.
Brissett.
Jacoby comes in. Jacoby,
Brissett. Yep.
Yeah, he was doing okay, and then he didn't pan out. But then you come in and you bring in Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, Nick, I know we went back and forth on this last year. He did a great job, and you didn't believe in him. And he took that offense, he took that team to another level. And Chris wanted him back. The whole organization wanted him back, but he was torn. He wanted to go, and he wanted to go, you know, be Papa. You know, he has a lot of children, and he also wanted to be a high school coach. So I don't think this is going to happen because this ball was in Phillip Rivers' hands last year.
Well, and so if we're going to talk about Ballard and the what-ifs, the other what-if is this. They could have, with the assets they traded for Carson Wentz,